Hey everybody, Ed Carbajal here for MMAnews.com. It is the Sunday after UFC 261. There's so many events and stuff we got to get to, so I'm just going to try to keep it all in a 30-minute time range as we do here for Sunday Submission. I'm Ed Carbajal. This is MMAnews.com's video vlog or whatever you want to call it. Sunday Submission for everything that's happened. I mean, if you look at it, there was Wednesday, Thursday. Was there Thursday? Wednesday we had one on TNT. No, we didn't have anything Thursday, did we? I'm already losing track because we had PFL was Friday, one championship was Wednesday, and then we had the UFC 261 on last night, Sunday. So of course I'm gonna do. As I always tell you guys every week. For every UFC pay-per-view, I do an editorial for MMAnews.com. So 7 takeaways from that. So we're going to go over those today. We'll jump off from there and work our way back just because there's just so much to take away from that event. I don't know about you guys, but I was thoroughly impressed with it. But before we move on really quick, make sure you check out all the results and news and everything over at MMAnews.com. Like and subscribe to the MMAnews.com YouTube channel, where videos like this and our fighter interviews live, done by the great James Lynch. We've got Jeff Neal, who's fighting May 1st, Miro Dvalishvili, who fights, I believe, after that. And then there's more coming, as the fight business goes on, like it did last night. So if you want to see all the work I do, make sure you follow me on Twitter. I stream this on my own Twitter Live when I record it, and then it goes to the MMAnews.com YouTube channel. So make sure you like and subscribe to all of that stuff. So let's get right into it. Pop it up on the screen here. We're just going to jump right into UFC 267. Listen, there was so much to take away. Before I even get into what's on the piece, really quick, the whole event from start to finish. I'm trying to click out these ads so the noise doesn't bother you guys. So much to take away from that event. From the first fight to the last fight, it looked like if anyone wanted to cite something for proof of what having a crowd in attendance can do for everyone that's there to do their jobs, because the crowd is there for fun. But there's something to be said about the energy being fed to those performing and competing in the cage that night. Commentary, everybody was just like, for all the, okay, I don't miss the woos and all that stuff. For all of that, sitting at home watching it, even myself last night, I couldn't help but be, I don't know, man. It was definitely something to behold, as far as being a fan of the sport. I know I write about it or whatever. I'm freelance media, so it's not really my full-time thing, but it really is something to behold as somebody that's been following the sport for so long. And I do the Coast to Coast Combat Hour podcast. If you guys follow that, my co-host, he bought tickets and went through the whole thing to get there, and he was there. So probably be talking about that this coming Tuesday night. I heard it was nice and humid down there in Florida. I like the hot weather. I don't have as many dad noise throat issues when the weather's nicer. But not so nice here in Jersey. But today I think we're coming out of finally going to get some actual spring days before the summer hits us for our four Northeast, our four nice months out of the year that we get. All right. But you're not here for weather reports. You're here for UFC 261. So, I'm not going to read these off in order because there's a thing about the mask. UFC gave fans in attendance free face mask. I tweeted a picture of the mask. It's actually, enough for, if you're a collector and you want to look back at this time in your life, especially if you're a fight fan, it's definitely something to look back. With sports, this is history. As much as you'd like to forget the pandemic and, kind of act like it's not there, we still have to, deal with with what's going on in the world. So even though I know Dana White did his interview with Kevin Iole on Yahoo Sports and was like, you wear a mask if you want or whatever. And, we didn't see a lot of masking going on if you saw shots of the crowd or stuff like that. But there's protocols in place. There was I know Dana White went after the Las Vegas Review-Journal for the disclaimer that they put out on they kind of just copied the disclaimer that all ticket holders got. But the clickbaity lead into that article it kind of pissed him off and kind of, get put a negative. And we're not going to know until after, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, we're not going to know if this was super spread or whatever you want to call it until after the event. But, but goddamn it, like for a few hours in our lives, we got to even like I just wrote something on the newsletter that I do. For a few hours, we got to forget about all this and watch an event go down. I mean, not for nothing, Triller didn't do that for me. No pay-per-view has really done that for me because you see fights fall out. That should be a takeaway on this, that we didn't lose any fights all because of COVID protocols. We got a bunch of great fights, and they really were great. But ticket holders got free face masks. If anything, they pocketed it and took it home as a souvenir. There was protocols in place, though. If you read on the takeaway, I have the link to the UFC article that had the whole protocols that they were doing for those that were going up to the crowd that went. But listen, talking about the crowd, from the first fight to the last fight, you could tell fans were super excited. I actually put this video that the UFC posted in the article. Five-star veteran Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida, was sold out in minutes. And this fight between Ariane Carnelis and Na Liang, it probably would have gone another round if I don't know if it was an adrenaline dump on her part or what, but whatever happened, they literally put it all out there for the first fight to be like that. I mean, I don't think they got any performance of the night bonuses because they set the bar. This fight set the bar so high, and then we got so many finishes off of it. I'll go to the quick results just after I do the takeaways here. But all the finishes off of it. Let's I gotta play this. Mute the sound out. I mean, that's as soon as the first round began. Look at that. They literally went after each other like there was a title on the line or there was beef. I mean, these scrambles were crazy. You would have thought from that Lang dropping Carnelos. Am I saying her name right? Carnelos. Carnelossi, sorry. She literally you would think she'd lost the fight, but she was the one that was able to I guess she didn't have an adrenaline dump or what have you. And then I wrote this calf kick was the first really bad leg issue. Well, I guess not really bad when we talk about what happened with Chris Weidman, but I mean the fact that Jimmy Crute, how they the takeaway I took from this was like, you always hear fighters say there's levels to this game or what have you. And the fact that Jimmy Crute, his leg it looked like it was bent inward at one point. I'm going to play this clip from the article here for you guys. But the fact that he wanted to first of all, he still secured a takedown after his leg wasn't operating correctly. It looked like a nerve thing. I mean, he sort of seemed like he was fine after they stopped it. And I know when they waved it off, he disputed the stoppage. But I really do think that when you hear fighters say, first of all, to do this for a living, I'm pretty sure I kind of touch on this almost every week, but this is a perfect example of why we sit home or we're sitting in the stands watching this stuff and they're in there doing it, because you got to be on another level to even to look at your body the way we look at our cars and stuff like that. And like, I can get this fixed later. Let me get through what I'm getting through right now. That's that really is something that needs to be respected, which is why folks don't like when Stephen A. Smith tries to do his hot take, because you don't know, bro. You really don't know. Let me play this for you just because this is a stoppage, but I think we see the kick in this. Look at that. Look at that. He wasn't walking right. They wave it up, but look at him. Look at how he's already. See how his foot is turned inward, and then he falls because it's still not working right. This calf kick stuff, man. I mean, it's weird how there's moves that have always been around, but then they and look, and then he lifts up Jimmy Smith, but yeah, I mean, and of course the respect and sportsmanship. I mean, that's what martial arts is all about, man. That calf kick. I remember the first time I saw a calf kick like that. The nerve damage and shutting off a limb. I don't remember the event number, but it was when Bellator was in Madison Square Garden. Brent Primus versus Michael Chandler when Chandler lost the title to Primus because of a similar kick, and he had a similar reaction where the shock to the nerve was so bad that it just you're firing off, your brain fires off a command to the leg, and it's just not responding. It's just kind of like limp out there, asleep or what have you. I can only assume, because I've never had a nerve attack. I mean, I've been kicked in the legs before, but to the Charlie horse level, not to the point that my leg doesn't want to operate the way that it should be operating when I want to take a step. And if you saw that fight, like Michael Chandler's foot wasn't planting, and his ankle was curling underneath him, and this was almost the same. I'm almost with Dana White in the post-fight press conference. Dana White kind of said, this is not. I don't think it's. I don't think this is. It was just nerve stuff. Something happened to his knee. And when you look at that clip of the way Crude's foot turned inward, I'm sure we'll get an injury report Monday or Tuesday to see. I mean, if there's anything wrong with it. But I mean, looking back, I'm recollecting the Michael Chandler version of it. He went on the MMA Hour afterward and said, okay, look, that his foot was fine and it was all nerve stuff, and it was just, I think he said it was like a really bad Charlie horse, but I mean, I never had a Charlie horse that bad, thank God. Anyway, so speaking of the leg kicks and this take, I actually, when I was writing this, I put a clip in there of, but you can literally, you're probably waking up to live the real-time version, slow motion, the stills, the leg injury that happened to Chris Weidman at the opening round of his rematch with Uriah Hall. And first of all, of all the fights on the card, I mean, there was a lot I was looking forward to, but from the one fight that was not a title fight, this was the one I was looking forward to the most. Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall. Just because it's a Ring of Combat rematch, two guys from this area. During the fight week, there was this how Long Island is in New York thing that Uriah Hall said. So I was looking forward to them getting that settled in the cage. But listen, it is what it is. It's the part of the sport that it's a part of the sport that has folks calling this human cockfighting or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it is controlled violence at the end of the day, which is why the sport has always been climbing an uphill battle. Boxing had the same problems in the past too, so but the thing about the irony of history repeating itself. Both men hold a victory over Anderson Silva. The last time we saw an injury like this in the UFC was when Chris Weidman fought Anderson Silva and checked his leg kick, and the same thing happened to him. So it's so crazy that this is happening to Chris Weidman. I just he's 36 years old. You know, I mean, he's already had a neck surgery, which makes me. I'm only because I trained with somebody out of another black belt under Matt Serra. I'm like, what is it with these guys and because the person I train with, he's an instructor of mine, training partner, whatever you want to call it, but he also has issues with his neck, and I know Aljamain Sterling just had neck surgery, and Chris Weidman had to have neck surgery. I don't know if it's because they came from wrestling, because the person I know personally also has a strong wrestling background, but competitive, wrestling background. I don't know if that has anything to do with these guys and needing neck surgeries, but that put Weidman out for a while, and he's had a rough return to competition. He came off a win before this, and then this happens. I mean, this was looking to be a hell of a fight. It's just, excuse me, one of the things I don't get, like when things like this happen, it's almost like you can't write a movie about it. That you always hear that like truth is better than fiction, or the truth is scarier than the story, or it's truth scary, whatever the saying is. This is something that you'd think it was a movie. For him to suffer the injury that happened when he fought someone, I don't know, man. 36. Listen, this is one. My instructor always says it. He's coached fighters and gotten them to the UFC and Strikeforce and what have you. But this is, I mean, it is a young man's, sport. When you get into your 30s, I mean, that's young in life, but for fighting, you really can't. You got to start wondering. You got to start thinking about doing something else. I'm not saying Silva was able to come back and compete after it, including winning a round against Israel Adesanya when he fought the current middleweight champion. So a return is not out of Jesus Christ. Goddamn New Jersey. We just had it was 40-degree one day and then 70 yesterday and the day after, and the pollen is all over the place. So I'm sorry about all the disgust that I'm putting you through. Anyway, you really can't know what these guys are going to do. Again, if you go back to what I just said about Jimmy Crude, Weidman's one of those guys. So we'll see if he wants to come back after this. I mean, he does stuff with the Madison Square Garden Network. He's got other things going on. He just moved. I know he just moved to I think he moved to South Carolina because he's related to Wonder Boy's married to his sister, so they're like family down there too. I just hope he recovers well and that he's healthy. Surgery is probably done because I'm recording this at noon on Sunday. Megan O'Leary reported that after they took him to the hospital, stabilized him, that surgery was supposed to be done Sunday morning. So now he's already in recovery mode. There's the rehab and the re-strengthening and all that stuff they got to do. I mean, whatever he decides to do, I really hope, it's all pluses for him from here. So thoughts go out to Weidman and his family and stuff like that. Just like coincidentally, not long after it happened, Anderson Silva put something up about, like just hoping, because it's just crazy that the irony and it's so crazy that to share that injury after giving, being someone, I don't want to, he was on the giving end and then on the receiving end. It's just crazy to see. It's crazy to see. 3 title fights. So I called him. Can I pick him or can I pick him? We do a predictions piece at MMAnews.com. I also submit my overall picks at SureDog.com. But listen, not for nothing. There's people out there doing things. Shevchenko literally made it a point out of Jessica Andrade when she fought for her title. And then by round 2, she was just like, "I had point taken. Let me finish this," and she tied up the arm. and just, crucifix and then just rain down elbows. And she actually said in the post-fight interview, when she saw the blood, it made her throw more faster because she was just like, it's time for the referee to stop this. And Andrade was all smiles and stuff afterwards. So listen, again, these athletes are something else. But it looks like there's really no one out there for her to, like, she's literally the queen of the flies and for the women's flyweight division. So if a third fight with Amanda, and the same thing can be said for Amanda Nunes in both 135, 145. So if the UFC wants to toss us Shevchenko Nunes 3, you can't say no, right? What else is there? What else is there for her to do? In the post-fight press conference, she did say she's not going to chase that fight, but if that's what's presented to her, she said there's a really quote that I put in the 7 Takeaways piece. While my opponents try to figure out what is a weakness of mine, don't waste your time. There is none. If that's not making a statement, she talked about doing movies and stuff like that, but from my point of view, I personally, when I see fighters start doing other things, like we saw it happen with Ronda Rousey, McGregor really didn't, but he stepped away. When you step away from especially at this level, when you step away to do something else and try to come back, everyone's going to start leapfrogging you or getting ahead of you. That's just my point of view from what I've seen in the history of the sport. I think that's what happens. And then Rose Namajunas, listen, I saw her winning this just because she seems so evolved from, if I've watched her from when she fought in Invicta, came up through and won the title the first time, especially that crew over there. When you look at the next two, the co-main and main event, what is it out there? Team Elevation, Trevor Whitman and all them. I think it's an Elevation Fight Team. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that, but I'm sure somebody will correct me in the YouTube comments or whatever. I just saw her. I always see her. She always kind of puts herself in this weird flow state. Never mind the preparation and all that stuff like that, because she does. And we all know these fighters train for the fights that they sign contracts for. But when she gets in there, we saw it at the beginning when when Buffer was announcing her name. She said she was saying to herself, "I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best." And we saw that. We saw her kind of just like she puts herself somewhere else mentally, like literally in the moment of every second of the fight. And she even said that the high kick, it came to her as they approached each other, and we saw the outcome. What a great win for her. And I know this morning Weili Zhang posted comments about she disputed the stoppage. Of course, she wasn't happy. She lost. She seemed a little out of it. The commentary team saw that. She said something this morning that on her Instagram, congratulating Rose, but she definitely wants a rematch. It looked like Dana White's kind of cool on making a rematch happen. But from what I remember, historically, Rose wins her rematches. Like the 2 times against Joanna, when she lost to Andrade, she made a mistake on her part, corrected it, won that rematch. So and now she's champion again. So I don't see her losing in another rematch. Another fight against Zhang. Again, this is Zhang's second loss. She lost her very first MMA fight when she started fighting. So this is her second loss in a large gap of time. So that says something about Weili Zhang. Zhang Weili. I'm always confused of how because the way they say the names over there in China versus how we say it here. But Weili's just she's on another level in herself. So maybe the rematch goes the distance, or whatever. But I just something about Rose's game in every fight. She just seems more calculating in the moment. From as soon as she's in there, you see her at the face-offs. She's usually kind of just like blank. She says nothing. She does nothing. She does nothing that shows aggression or fear. It's just like I'm here. Let's see what happens. It's pretty cool, actually. She's probably one of my favorite fighters right now. Main event, Kamaru Usman. When I predicted this on the predictions piece that we do, the only reason I saw Usman winning, I didn't see a knockout coming because of Masvidal's toughness, but I saw Usman winning just because these guys that come from wrestling at that level, that competition that Usman comes from, they're just used to the cycle of competition so much that it almost feeds into them when the time comes time to perform. And then I didn't see a knockout like that of that magnitude. Check out the images, and I couldn't find a really good, like most people are taking clips and putting them on social. I couldn't find one that was usable, without getting hit with copyright stuff to put on this. But the sweat that came off of Masvidal when that right hand, and it was there all night. I mean, he kept throwing it. I know they were talking about the commentary team was talking about the inexperience of Usman striking, but to me it was just like he's throwing everything. It's almost like if you remember back in the day when Jacare first got into MMA and he used to shoot for takedowns. His shots weren't like wrestler shots. It was just like kind of the way that Goldberg from WCW would do a spear. Like he just fired his whole body at people, hips and legs to take them down, and it worked. And it looks like that's what Usman is doing with his right straight punches, because, I mean, he throws them to the point that he almost fires his whole body behind the punch, and that's the type of power that was in that. So, he said afterward in one of the UFC interviews that they put on their social, I think it's on the UFC.com news channel, where he said that I'm lapping. He's lapping all the top welterweights now. So the fight with Covington seems to be the one that they're going to make. I don't mind that at all. I mean, the first fight was great. I mean, but when you see champions continue to just get better, I mean, because fighting the Usman that fought a 6 days notice, Masvidal, that fight went to decision. And it's funny because Masvidal was one that was saying, give me more time to prepare and I'll show you the difference. And I thought that was the case because of how well he did with 6 days notice. But it looked like it was more true for you give Usman the right opponent and the right time to prepare. This is what we got. So listen, that's UFC 261 was probably going to go down as one of my favorite pay-per-views. And I haven't said that about a pay-per-view in a long time. From start to finish, there's a lot of other submissions. Really quick, we're almost running out of that. I spent the whole 30 minutes going over it, but there was one on TNT. Really quick, if you're a striking fan, the first fight on one on TNT is probably on their YouTube channel. You should check out the match between Nikki Holzkin and John Wayne Parr, because if you're a striking fan, those were two Muay Thai legends that went at it, and Holzkin came out the winner. Professional Fighters League was Friday night. So their format, it's almost like if there's a place you really want a fair shake at making some real money in MMA, their format seems to be the one that does it. And that's why you see guys like Werdum, Pettis, and all these Rory McDonald sign with them, because you don't have to trash talk. You don't have to do anything goofy on social media. You literally just go there, fight, win, advance, and if you make it to the end of the year, you can be the season champion, the year champion, plus $1 million. So I missed PFL. I'm not gonna lie, I missed the hell out of them, and that event on Friday night was fantastic. I'm looking forward to the next one, which is this Thursday. Who's on this Thursday? I think that's McDonald and Curtis Millender. This Thursday. It was supposed to be Dave Michaud, but you can check MMAnews.com for the news on that of the last minute, why they had to switch it out. So, but that's definitely a very fun format. If you're looking for something different in MMA, Bellator is doing their tournament. PFL has a seasonal format. XFC kind of does all of the above. they're on Fox Deportes. But what a great time to be a fight fan. What a great time to be a fight fan. So anyway, before I make any more disgusting noises on this, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe again to the MMAnews.com YouTube channel. Click the bell notification for all the stuff like this and interviews that we got coming. Go to MMAnews.com to read all the full results of all the events. There's some nice submissions from UFC 261 that I wanted to get to, but running out of time. We're already at the 30-minute mark. And, of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter and all the work I do and all the other outlets I write for in the podcast and stuff, that's my handle at Carbazel. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Sunday. There's still more coming. If you're a Fight Pass subscriber and you like grappling, Submission Underground is tonight. SUG22. I always call it Shug. I don't know why, because it's like sugar, but it stands for Submission Underground. But I'll be watching and live tweeting that tonight, so make sure you follow me on Twitter. And I got access to Twitter Spaces too, so if you don't want to see this face anymore, but you like hearing my buttery voice and my dad noises, I'll probably be doing some audio on there during events. I literally got access to it just before UFC 261. No idea how it works. So sorry to James Lynch, Nolan King, Tavon Anthony. I sent them a message like an asshole inviting them to something on the fly. But they have lives. I don't. That's it for me, folks. I'm tapping out. Sunday Submission. Enjoy.